Probably because I forgot to mute myself earlier. Hi, I'm Rowan North. I'm a freelance illustrator and art educator. You can find my stuff at rowannorthillustrations.org. Um, I play Pepper Ann McGillicuddy. She is kind of the rich, higher class individual, kind of live in the upper life, upper echelons of Exodus. And was given a very special power to be able to talk to and control animals. She has two hunting dogs and an elephant gun that works half the time. And she's a little cuckoo. So, but who isn't? Yep, that's me.
I am a visual storyteller, primarily an illustrator and apparel designer. I'll pop my link there in the chat for anybody interested. And I play Bambi Darling, and my favorite way to describe her is the washed-up starlit harlot of Exodus. It gives me joy to call her that, because she is kind of a dumb broad who gets around. But she's also strangely and incredibly proficient at protecting herself and killing people. And that's who I play.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I am a traditional artist. I work primarily in watercolor and pencil sketch, as well as a little bit of digital art. And this is Exodus. I play everybody else, but most notably, I play Anastasia Petrova, she's kind of like the guide for the party as they navigate their way through everything. She was the one who initially sent out the SOS call that was intercepted by Niklaus in Sydney. And that's how they were able to find the lighthouse in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean that led them to this wonderful journey that they've been on so far. But yeah, Anastasia is, she's in her early 30s. She was once a nurse. She was studying under the head doctor for the city. And kind of as the city fell into the wrong hands, she bore witness to firsthand the effects of what this substance, this cane, was doing to people. Because obviously, working with the doctor, she was very, very present in a lot of the physical transformations that people were experiencing, as well as the mental side of things, which eventually, and she doesn't talk about it very much, but eventually that is what befell her doctor as well. So she was able to recognize those signs and kind of move herself out of there quickly enough. But yeah, so she is the guide for the party thus far. Although everybody certainly has their own idea of what they'd like to do. So most times, rather than being the guide, she's just along for the ride, which is never a dull moment. But yeah, so last time we left off, like Raven said, we kind of hit a checkpoint area. You guys were able to stop the toxin that was being spread throughout the irrigation system, I think it was. That Penelope. Here I go, spoiling names for future. Now I'm gonna have to change it. Penelope. There you go.
I wasn't paying attention. You're good.
Excellent. Penelope, rather. So Penelope was the one to set off this toxin in motion. She was the one who kind of threatened Celeste, who, as we know, is kind of like the head botanist, the head. She deals with the agriculture and things like that for the city, or she did at one point. And we found out that she is, in fact, still alive, still kicking, holed up in her little observatory in the Garden of Eden. And you guys were able to return all of the ingredients that she needed in order to reverse the toxin and spread the antidote. She was also able to administer some of that antidote to Sydney, who is now no longer on death's doorstep, which is great. We want to keep her along for the ride as much as we can. But yeah, you guys have stocked up on supplies. You've stocked up on medications and gotten yourself some new powers, which we might get to test out this session. Who knows? Or definitely next session. But when we left off, particularly at the end of last session, I kind of took a page from Raven's book and kind of did the camera pans for the audience to another section of Exodus. And in that section, we saw two gentlemen knocking on a door. And I think I'd like to elaborate a little bit more for you guys before we really get into it. So last going off, we see this woman, this beautiful woman, holed up in one of the lounges in the entertainment district. Very, very beautiful, like her makeup is done, perhaps not as well as, it once would have been when everything was booming, but clearly she is still in the habit of trying to kind of mimic the livelier times, let's say. Very, very beautiful, long red hair, very beautiful green eyes. She's wearing kind of like, we'll call it like the rich widow look, the long robes trimmed into feathers and things like that. I always love to picture her kind of very over the top in one of those. It just kind of flows as she walks, and she's currently pacing back and forth in this lounge that's locked up. You can see where the gate is locked up, and she kind of holds herself in there waiting for something interesting to happen. And then last time we had a knock at that gate, and she went over to the gate and she peeked through and saw two gentlemen waiting on the other side for her. And so with this session, we open up with that image, and of course, recognition kind of dawns on her face. She knows who these gentlemen are. And she opens up the gate, unlocks the gate, lets them in. They come on inside, and she kind of peeks around them to make sure that there's nobody coming in behind them, and that they are in fact alone. Sorry if you heard that. That was my dog. She's making noise, knocking things over. Yes, but so she lets these gentlemen in and looks out the door behind them, make sure there's nothing there. And once she's satisfied, she kind of tightens her grip on her shotgun and closes the gate very swiftly and locks it up. And she kind of leaves a hand on the gate for just a moment before squaring her shoulders and turning around to meet with these two gentlemen. And of course, one of them is very, very stoic, puffing on a cigarette, a jacket flung over his shoulder, and, you know, not giving anything away with either his facial expression or the way he holds himself. And the gentleman standing next to him, of course, is a little looser in the way that he's standing, and he greets the woman with a very dazzling smile, or what he assumes to be dazzling, to some might be kind of predatory. But clearly these three know each other. And then kind of this tension building as the three of them kind of take a moment to look at each other. It's very clear that even though they know each other, they probably haven't spoken in a while. And just as simple as that, with the snap of a finger, the gentleman who's kind of more laid back breaks from his brother's side and kind of saunters over to the woman, and slides a hand around her shoulders and leans his face into hers. He says, "Well, Vixen, darling, it's been such a long time. It's so good to see you." And it takes her a moment again, but kind of her expression suddenly melts and matches his as well. And it's almost like these two have always been thick as thieves. They play off each other's energy, even that they're not doing much, they're just standing there. You can clearly tell that their energy matches. And that sly kind of smile spreads across her face as well as she looks to the other gentleman, and she says, "Well, I would wonder if I was going to see you. I suppose you've answered that question. But what perchance has brought you here to me today? What is it that I can help you with?" And the gentleman that has his arm around her shoulders kind of pouts a little bit, kind of like this mock pout, and says, "Well, can't we just come by to say hello to you? We missed you, of course." And she elbows him in the side, and he kind of ducks out of her way. And she kind of tuts at him with her tongue. She says, "As much as I'd like for that to be true, I know you two better than that. I know this is no friendly visit. What can I do for you?" And the one with his arm around her kind of snorts and backs off, and kind of does like a little circle around her almost. And it doesn't seem to bother her. It's clearly she's seen this from him many a time. And he says, "Well, you know, the old lady's going to make shit difficult for us, right? I'm sure you've heard she broadcasted over the speaker to speak to a new little group that's come on through. And of course, you know that Anastasia is with them. You know that Bambi is with them." And kind of when he mentions Bambi's name, she kind of squares her shoulders a little bit, and the smile that was kind of joking kind of turns one to, it's not really triumphant, but it's a little bit mocking, a little bit smug as she hears the name Bambi. And he says, "Yeah, that's right. Bambi's with them. But, you know, that aside, of course, things will be a little more difficult now that they've stuck their nose in where it doesn't belong." And then the one with his arms around her shoulders just now, Xavier, he says, he leans back in close to her ear and he says, "You know, we could just kill her. What's Johnny gonna know? Better to ask forgiveness than permission, isn't it? Come on, Vixen. We could just kill her, right?" And then from across the little way, the brother kind of tosses the cigarette out on the ground and stamps it out with his heel. And he kind of straightens back up and says, They're not going to work with us if they know the order is coming from Johnny. Come on, Vixen, for old time's sake, hey? It'll be like old times. It'll be fun. You just have to get them from point A to point B, right? And with that, Vixen kind of gives them a little smile, and that's where we'll head back to you guys who are still with Celeste. So yeah, what are you guys doing right now? Kind of give me a little description on how you guys are spending this little break.
I need a moment to like not scream. So where have they taken refuge for this brief break? Are they still in the area where Celeste is?
Yeah, so Celeste has offered you kind of that little bit of a break from her quarters in the observatory.
Okay. Is there libation or radio or anything recreational of the sort?
Good question. I would say Celeste probably has like a small radio on one of her desks. Something that she would have been able to just listen to as she worked.
Bambi will, like, probably within the hour of getting the opportunity, take a break, flip to her favorite station, which is playing all of her favorite songs. And then she would go to root around the doctor's shelves and drawers because she's shameless.
Yeah, you kind of take a look around, kind of sift through everything. It seems like there's not a whole lot there. Celeste has kept everything very, very professional. Everything is in order. There's nothing tucked anywhere particular. She does have some equipment there, like whatever science projects I guess she was working on, any sort of research, things like that. But other than that, there's nothing really. There's like no spare parts or nothing like that. Whatever she had to offer you was in that little chest. So yeah, from what you can tell, there's nothing really.
And is Celeste relaxing with them, or has she vamooshed?
No, she is still there with you guys. She's sitting on a little stool on the other side of the little island in the middle of the room. She's watching you kind of carefully, very cautiously. Obviously, you guys, helped saved her life, so like she's not too distrustful, but she's still cautious. You guys are still
Valid.
kind of strangers to her. Killed some people in her vicinity, so.
Very valid. I think Bambi would probably take this opportunity to test out her new plasmid, to be perfectly honest with you. She's got her music playing. She's found everything that's valuable in the area. Why not test out some new powers?
Sure. So remind me again which one it was you chose?
It would be telekinesis.
Telekinesis. All right. So, go ahead. Tell me what you'd like to do there. Just kind of, I'm not going to get you to roll anything or anything like that. Just go ahead. What are you doing with it?
She is going to be, she's going to take her seat kind of, I assume in a chaise lounge, spread out as femininely as possible without totally looking like a slut. And she is going to reach out to one of the beakers on the desk and try and call it to her.
All right. So you are able to do so, no problem. This plasmid activates. You can kind of feel it. it's a little bit different the way it moves through your body in comparison to how your siren song works. So it's a new sensation that way. It's very much physical rather than with your voice. So that is a new sensation to you. You are able to reach out. You see your target, the thing that you would like to grab onto, bring to yourself. You activate your plasmid. Now, I would like you to actually roll skillfulness for me, please.
All I can imagine is like a tiny, like feral-looking raccoon doing grabby hands. Skillfulness. It's just 1d6 or 2d6?
That's your d20 plus your modifier.
Oh, that's right. I'm getting confused with my games.
No worries.
20, unnaturally.
Yeah, so you call it to you. It kind of launches off the desk in your direction. You are able to pluck it out of the air. It does not miss its mark, and you were able to grab it.
She looks as happy as a clam. She's like, "Oh, guys, look what I did! Look what I did!"
As you do this, Anastasia kind of watches you activate this power and fling a glass piece through the air and catch it. And she looks so incredibly distrustful. She knows something's going to go up in the future, and you're just, from what she's seen of Bambi, she is cautious.
That's very valid. The Bambi is literally hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go on.
No.
I'd say that Bambi probably just like takes the next little bit of time until somebody does something else to just like dick around with her new power.
Yeah, so if you can decide whatever it is you'd like to do with it, just roll every time you do so in order to catch it for me. Nobody's going to stop you unless you lock onto something that Celeste deems too important to her. So she doesn't say anything just as long as you're kind of like, pulling books off the shelf or taking a pen off the counter or something like that. If you start breaking things, then she'll probably ask you to stop.
So basically she's treating Bambi like a cat.
Yeah, essentially. Bambi, you are now the cat of the party.
I have an additional question for this. Is Bambi able to move, not pull things towards her, but like to move things in a general direction? Like, can she launch a book across the room without having to use skillfulness?
I would say yes. You can kind of direct it however you'd like. However, if you are looking to hit something specific, that's where the accuracy will come into play. It's just like a projectile. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But if you're just looking to kind of make a mess, then yeah. If there's no accuracy or skillfulness to it, you're just making things go.
You're a wizard, Bambi.
Just be mindful of how many times you use it. That's all. I will say
that's actually a good question. How many max uses does telekinesis have?
I think I have it in the roll 20. Let's see. Telekinesis. Uses per dose is 8.
Oh, cool.
I will say, just because we're kind of in this little in-between and you guys are testing things out, I won't get you to follow like the doses or the usages as you're kind of just playing with it. Just as long as you're not doing anything like intentional with it. So, if you're specifically trying to hit a specific person with a book, if you're just playing around it, then that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
She's just going to dig around. That's all Bambi does.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say she probably, doesn't get herself into too much trouble. Celeste doesn't. She probably gives you a look every now and then, which is like a pained, please don't break all my stuff. but she doesn't say anything to you.
All right.
Niklaus, what about you?
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling like Niklaus is very, very tired since Klaus was behind the wheel for so long and doing a lot of things that Niklaus is not accustomed to doing.
Yeah.
A lot of physical activities that he's not accustomed to doing. So I kind of imagine him just like being passed out, if not on a similar piece of furniture, then perhaps like leaning against the same one that Bambi's on.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think while he's like drifting in and out of sleep, that the plasmid that he drank thinking it was booze might start to, take effect. And so I think it would just be really funny, and I kind of imagine Niklaus kind of lightly snoring, and then in his sleep, just the whole air around him and everything starts to get colder and colder and colder.
Love that.
Bambi just starts slapping him.
What? Why are you slapping me?
She's, my skin complexion doesn't do so great under frosty circumstances. And she, like, brushes, like, snow at him.
Niklaus, still confused, just looks at Bambi and just this questioning look like, where in the world did you find snow?
You imbecile, and she'll slap the back of his head.
Ow, stop hitting me.
Oh, the turns have tabled. Suddenly Bambi
Right?
is like, get out of here, sir.
Stop hitting me. What do you mean I'm... You mean to imply that I made snow?
She just looks at you, gets up from the chaise lounge, and moves across the room to keep dicking around.
Niklaus just sort of shrugs and gives Bambi a confused look and then takes the Shea Lounge. Goes back to sleep.
I would say while you are kind of going back and forth like that, Sid is also similarly starting to feel this this new plasmid.
Oh, no.
And unlike you, Niklaus, because you kind of have the feeling of other, like obviously you have the experience with Klaus, so the kind of integration of this new plasmid into your body isn't as shocking as it is for Sid, because she doesn't have any of this. Like, she's never had any framework to kind of place this experience or this feeling on. So for her, it's very jarring. It's very interesting. It's very, very exciting. Suddenly, instead of using a flamethrower, now she can kind of make little flames come out of her fingers. And you rarely see kind of this, not even this degree of excitement, but you rarely see excitement in Sydney's face. But for some reason, this in particular has really kind of struck a chord with her. She seems like she's having fun. And she doesn't light anything belonging to Celeste on fire, aside from kind of poking at a stack of papers and sneakily taking some out of the stack and sitting down next to the chair that you're in, and she rips little pieces off and then sets them aflame, and watches as they kind of like float up into the sky. And I would say probably once or twice you feel a little bit of burnt paper ash fall onto your face. But other than that, she's very careful with it. She doesn't light anything else on fire, but if you look at her, you can see this is something that's really caught her attention, and she's interested by this.
I think when little bits fall on his face, like Niklaus will open like one eye, like just crack an eye open and look at Sydney, and probably say something along the lines of, "Careful with that. Do you remember what happened last time you played with matches?"
Rather than kind of the caught with your hand in the cookie jar expression, she pretends, much like a cat, that nothing is wrong. You've seen absolutely nothing. And if you did see something, no, you didn't. So she just pretends that nothing's wrong and kind of slips the paper back down under her leg or something like that. But makes no indication that she has any idea what you're talking about.
And then with that, Niklaus just sort of, it does like a, humph, kind of a sigh sound. But there's a little bit of Klaus there, so the corner of his mouth is just curling up in a smile at the chaos of the fire.
Of course.
To Nick.
Yeah. And Pepper, what about you?
I think Pepper would rather be out in the garden. Like, they're in the gardens. It's pretty. It's outside, outside playing with her dogs. Mm-hmm. Just kind of keeping to herself.
Now, how wary is she of the fact that there were splicers that were outside the window? Does she take any precautions, or is she just kind of sticking close to the door? What's she doing?
Yeah, I imagine that she's just outside.
Okay.
Like maybe there's some trees nearby that she can sit under and things like that. Yeah, just out, playing fetch with the dogs, giving them the TLC that they need, that attention. Because she really hasn't had the chance to very much since they started this little quest. They've been by her side and they've been kind of nonstop. So it's really important to show attention to your doggos. They get tired too.
Right. So has she taken the new plasmid yet, or?
Yes, she. Yeah. I think this is actually when she does, sitting under there in between kind of playing with the dogs. She's just still considering it. Considering what Anastasia said and things like that. Anastasia is very much like it's up to you, but the more you use it, the more weird you're gonna get, no matter what. But taking the plasmid's not gonna do anything.
Right.
That's ultimately what they talked about.
Yeah. Kind of describe for me a little bit kind of the process of her taking this and how she feels about it.
Well, she pauses and looks at it, and she's kind of torn back and forth. Thanks to kind of the shock of everything that had happened, especially with Bambi's powers, her siren song, crazy singing, everyone go mad, bonkers, that clarity, she kind of has this moment where she realizes that she isn't the way she was before, that she's not all there, and she isn't, but she also isn't sure that there's ever gonna be coming back from that already. Mm-hmm. That maybe she kind of has this kind of self-pitying moment where she's like, maybe Penelope's right, that they shouldn't leave, because she knows that what place would there be for her in the world up there where, would she be locked in a mental facility? Would she, but then she kind of doubles down and is like, no, I want to see the world that Grandpa showed me in his books. I want to be able to go to Africa and see the lions, even if it means that I have to kind of be by myself because I can't talk to other people very well. Maybe I can make this work, and then kind of doubles down in the determination of, I can't be without my dogs again and survive. So I need to have a backup plan. And she takes the plasmid. And I imagine, that feeling of butterflies in your stomach? Mm-hmm. When you, especially when you come from a roller coaster ride and you suddenly drop and you feel your stomach rising. I imagine it's that, but very literal. Just
Probably, yes.
she's just like, feels this like tickle in her throat and in her stomach. And just it feels so weird. And when she opens her mouth, these small moths fly out. Now, the blood-sucking moths are about the size of like a fingernail, your thumbnail. They're not very big. So she's just kind of like surprised and covers her mouth, but then she's like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, I'm sure she's seen weirder things, so.
So they're not very big.
Perfect. So now Pepper is home to moths. That's pretty cool. Yeah, okay. I think that's everyone. Well, Anastasia, I guess, is just kind of taking a moment to relax and kind of bask in this feeling of not having to chase after Klaus going off to do something stupid. She finally gets a break from trying to wrangle all these cats together.
I resemble that statement.
What?
You do resemble that statement.
I said I resemble that statement.
So yeah, she's just kind of taking it easy on her own. She's probably still up in the observatory with Celeste as well. She does notice when Pepper decides to go out, but kind of decides to leave her to her own devices for a little while and kind of let her figure her own spot out a little bit more. However, Anastasia does not make any move to consume any more plasmids. She doesn't even show any interest. It's clearly not what she wants. It's all for you guys. She doesn't need any of that. So yeah, you guys are able to rest, kind of get all that health back, all that stamina. Celeste assures you that, she's quite certain that with such a large group, such a large capable group, that you guys should be safe enough to be able to stay here for a little while and kind of catch your breath. And then eventually Anastasia says, all right, I think, it's time to skedaddle, and rounds you all up, calls out to Pepper to come on in with the group and get yourself situated. From here, she kind of explains to you guys her plan. It is not much of a plan. She doesn't really have any specifics for you. She just kind of has a general idea. And once everyone's together, she kind of stands up and looks to you all and says, I have a vague idea of where we should go next and kind of the steps that we need to take to get from point A to point B. But I need you all to be aware of everything that is happening and things that are going to happen. You were kind of introduced to Penelope, Dr. Augustine, not too long ago, and she said some things that are very out of context for you. And she looks to Nicholas and Sydney. She says, if there is one particular wall that is standing in our way, that is keeping us from doing the things that we need to do, it is Penelope Augustine. So we have very limited choices and things that we need to figure out what we would like to do. Either way, she is the obstacle that we overcome. I suppose it's up to everybody to decide if we should remove her from the equation altogether, if we'd like to try and get around her. But despite being the biggest obstacle here, she might be our best way to get out. There are certain areas set up within the city that used to go to the surface. One of them was in the fisheries. That one has long been out of commission. There's no way for us to restart this area. But there are other escape pods and things like that we could potentially use. It's just a matter of getting to them and Penelope is the one who is stopping us from getting to those points. So I guess with that information, that is where we start. We must come up with a plan on how to deal with her, how we decide to get past her, to move forward.
Pepper, of course, is just like, she's not very nice.
Anastasia does one of those really slow blinks, like, oh, honey, child. No, she's not.
Niklas just sort of mutters, that's the understatement of the year.
Bambi just gives her a sympathetic look. She's like, no, she's not very nice. She's a downright bitch.
Well, Bambi, let's not point fingers, shall we? Whose fault is it?
Bambi has the moral high ground to herself.
Bambi has nary a foothold. Not a single
one. It's over,
one.
Penelope. I have the high ground.
Meanwhile, Penelope's like 5 steps up on the staircase looking at her like, bitch, you sure?
Bambi tries. That's the point. Bambi's not a really good human.
Oh, what's fucking someone else's husband between friends, right?
Right? I mean, in a different lifetime, a different world, we all could have been chummy together, but no, somebody had to have bad feelings about it.
In another dimension, in another universe, the timeline is so that Bambi steals John's bitch. So.
From the sound of things, it sounds like somebody became a different kind of chummy out in the waters for sharks.
That's what Penelope wants for Bambi. We all know it.
Niklas
Bambi's
on
thin ice. Yeah, go ahead.
And interject and say,
Bambi on ice.
I need this. Yes, that needs to happen at some point in the future. Anyways, Niklas will chime in and say, judging by our previous experience with this woman, I would say that diplomacy's likely out of the question, yes?
It's looking very much like that, yes.
Well, then it seems the reasonable course of action, the most prudent, would be to simply eliminate her as an obstacle.
Can't you say that, you psycho?
Only half of me is a psycho, thank you very much.
Mm-mm.
Bambi is going to inspect her fingernails while all y'all are talking.
Thank you, Riley.
Best.
Speaking of that, since oddly nobody's brought up the topic at all, Niklas is going to just kind of awkwardly be like, speaking of which, I do apologize for any inconvenience Klaus may have caused. I naturally didn't plan on revealing that he was a thing, as I thought I had
You just
control
hear
over
like
it.
this snort noise from Anastasia, who now has her arms crossed against her chest.
Yes, Riley, the secret, it came out last week, or last episode. So yeah, Niklas just looks at everybody, he's like, I thought I had that under control, but obviously extreme circumstances called for extreme measures, so I do apologize.
Bambi will just look at you and pat your shoulder and say, he was kind of delightful in his own way. It's okay, we all have our demons.
Niklas just sort of gives a mirthless laugh, just a sort of, yes, I suppose he does have some sort of charm. Just a very, like, bland expression on his face, just no real affection behind that statement.
Bambi follows up, and so Niklaus makes this, or Klaus, whoever the fuck it is. Sorry,
I think I'm
names
just
are
gonna split it. I'm just gonna split it up. So quote unquote sane doctor is Nick.
Okay. She's gonna
Chaotic
reach out
psychopath is Klaus.
and pat Nick's shoulder, and she says, "Oh, darling, just because he gets more tail than you doesn't make him any better than you are. Don't let it get you down."
Nick just arches an eyebrow and goes, "As I understand it, it's still this getting the tail, so I'm not one to complain." No, he's motioning to himself.
That
I just
a
realized you couldn't
boy.
see that.
That a boy. That's
What?
the good way to think about it.
Do tails have to do with psychopaths?
Oh, Pepper.
We'll tell you when you're older.
Wait, I'm missing something.
Pepper, you know when a mommy bird and a daddy bird love each other very much?
Anastasia puts a hand up and she's like, all right, that's enough. Now's not the time for that. We'll talk about it later.
Good timing, because Nick was about to say something rather inappropriate.
I feel like she must have a sixth sense for that. She just knew it was coming. So yeah, she's just like, absolutely not right now. And she's like, you know, for just having told you that we have very limited options to save our own lives, you seem to be obviously distracted with other things.
Bambi, like, clicks her tongue, like...
Pepper actually raises her hand.
Anastasia just looks at you.
Oh my god.
Are you gonna actually call on her or just look at her?
Just look at her like, you know, go ahead.
She's still going!
Bambi's gonna take this opportunity to put her arm over Pepper's and lower it and be like, you know, my Johnny could probably help us with this problem.
And as soon as you say that, whatever softness there was to Anastasia's features just completely disappears. Whatever exasperation, kind of like funny, haha, banter was present with her, gone. As soon as you mention John Castillo. And she looks at you and she just forcefully says, no. There is no way I'm getting involved with that man.
Nick looks back at Bambi. It just says, it would seem you've struck a nerve.
Bambi crosses her arms and she says, are you gonna look a gift horse in the mouth? She says, and goes on to continue very haughtily and clearly full of herself. She says, I know Johnny's not, you know, like a good guy or whatever, but he will help me. And if it's taking down his dry, dead in bed wife, you might as well just serve him a silver platter of everything that he ever wanted on a plate. And she is exaggerating. Like, she doesn't actually know what Johnny thinks about his wife, but she's putting in a little theatrics here to be like, you know, in this regard, you both are on the same side. I don't know what your problem is.
So, John Castillo was the one who stopped supporting Pepper's grandfather when he was bedridden and dying, right? Or is that someone else?
Oh goodness, I had their names written down and now I can't remember. Michael was the guy who made the city.
Okay, yeah,
John Castillo is kind of like, he had, for the Exodites, he was the one who kind of undermined what Michael was doing. He was a rival, trying to kind of seize power for himself. He did a lot
okay.
of the like contraband stuff, brought a lot of contraband into the city, kind of won favor with the poor guys, that kind of thing, you know?
So he was, yeah, Michael's rival there at the end and all that.
Yeah.
Um, Pepper's like, I don't. That gets all politicky, and I've had bad experiences with the politickies.
As you kind of say that, Anastasia steps forward and gets really in Bambi's face. And she lowers her voice and she says, I will never be on the same side as that man. And if you suggest it even once more, then I think you'll have more to worry about than a ripped dress and some shoes. And do I make myself clear?
Bambi, you can tell, like, she's just a little shaken, but she rolls her eyes and tries to brush it off like, you know, some hot shit woman that means something to the city but doesn't actually mean anything at all. And she takes a beat before she says, well, fine. There are other people that want Penelope taken down. I'm sure you know them better than I do.
Nick,
She steps away from you at that point, and you can see her fists are balled up, and she slowly, just like finger by finger, releases them, and her hands are still shaking a little bit. You can see that she is clearly affected by your insinuation that John Castillo is the way to go. Not even insinuation, the fact that you're outright like supporting this guy who she clearly wants nothing to do with. So it takes her a minute to kind of pull herself back together, but eventually that tremor lessens and lessens until it's gone.
So Pepper, on seeing Anastasia upset, actually gets up and kind of hesitantly reaches out and touches her balled up hand. And you know how much Pepper doesn't like being touched herself. So it is definitely a gesture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she notices. She can't like show any sort of gratitude or anything like that right now because clearly she's having a moment. But she does notice. Raven, what were you going to say?
Yeah, it's about to get worse because Nick hears all of this and seeing Anastasia get so like in Bambi's face, chimes in and just says, well, it would seem that our options are somewhat limited. I don't know that we should be casting away potential allies just because we have a distaste for some of their previous actions. But I mean, if you would like to, speak to any of our other allies, I'm sure they're lined up out the door. Be my guest.
If you would like to put your eggs in John Castillo's basket, then I am not going to stop you.
I'm not really inclined
There's
to speak
the
about
door.
where I would like to put my eggs or whose basket they may appear in. That's
Is that a sex thing?
Tell you when you're older. Mommy and Daddy are talking.
Oh my god.
Is that something that Nick says out loud?
Yeah, he literally says that while just like inspecting his nails.
Anastasia gives you just the most profound look of disgust that you've ever seen on a woman's face. And knowing Nick Klaus, he's probably received quite a few of those.
Oh, sure.
But
He's such an ass.
yeah, disgusted and also just furious. Like if you, the kind of furious, like if you want to go, like there's the door, get the fuck out of my house, you know? Like she's not, she's very, very upset.
Nick gives her a second to be upset and be flustered before speaking again and just says, now if you have any other viable options, I'm sure we'd all love to hear it.
Anastasia takes a moment to kind of pace around, just like a very short route back and forth in Celeste's observatory as she's thinking.
Kind of raises her hand and then says, he doesn't know anything. Maybe you should tell him.
Says that to who?
To Anastasia, referring to Niklaus.
She continues to kind of pace back and forth. And it seems like she's going to ignore that suggestion for now. She stops eventually and turns to look at the group and says, there are very few people here who still have their wits about them, let's say. I only know maybe a couple of people who have never touched plasmids or cane in their lives. That might be of some help at least. And well, I don't know how receptive to that the group will be. And she looks at Bambi specifically. And then she kind of thinks to herself for a moment and says, you're right, there are limited options, but there is someone that we could go see in the entertainment district, perhaps. This is my only other options, the only thing I can think of.
Bambi gets. I'm trying to think of. You say Anastasia says entertainment district, and Bambi's eyes immediately narrow. Like she's sus as hell. She says, "Who are you thinking of? I know everyone in the entertainment district."
Anastasia just gives you a look. She doesn't verbalize anything, but just kind of,
Now, is this look enough for Bambi to know that who she's talking about, or is that like a shut up and sit down kind of look?
The look is like, you know who I'm talking about. It's up to you if Bambi gets that.
I don't know if Bambi will get it or not. She probably
if she doesn't,
does.
That's fine.
Okay, here's what we'll do. Bambi assumes that it's an entertainment director. She's like, if anybody is well known and well versed enough, it ought to be. I can't think of a name off the top of my head. Schwartz.
Oh my god.
The entertainment director Schwartz.
So you're saying we could use the Schwartz to help us?
Hey, you can change it. That sounds awful.
Schwartz does sound pretty fancy, though. That does sound like a viable name. I'm just saying.
I mean, can think of nothing other than Spaceballs now.
I'm with you.
Okay, we'll say Charles Schwartz. There you go, Charlie. Good old Charlie.
What about his shorts?
They're very lovely shorts indeed.
Oh
yeah. So, is this something that Bambi says out loud? Like
Yeah.
she assumes that it's this person?
She's just like, she gives Anastasia this look, and then it's like a switcheroo. Like her expression suddenly changes and she lights up and she says, "Oh, I love Schwartz. He totally helped us. Oh my god, he's fabulous. Pepper, you're gonna love him."
Who?
You know those nods
director.
where somebody will look you directly in the eye and just nod and not say a word. That's what Anastasia does.
Yeah, exactly. Would they be even alive?
No,
I
they might
mean,
be
they've
odd alive.
gotta be. Of course he's alive. He's
Oh.
just the most clever, like whip crack person you
Crap.
ever. I can't
Don't
talk.
give me that rip
guys.
crap.
I can't talk.
I disappeared again. I keep disappearing.
There's a new danger on the streets. It's called whip crack. All the kids are doing it. That's a menace, I tell you.
I hear it comes from cans of Cool Whip.
The new and improved whippets.
Whip crack.
Oh my god.
Anyway, what are we talking about?
Exactly.
Oh no, I dropped my
Meanwhile, back
dice.
in
I dropped my dice into my pill bottle. I can't believe I've done this.
Oh my god. Yeah, so Anastasia is going to let you be under the impression that that's what she means. Just for fear of Bambi losing it if she tries to correct her. So
The moment that the name is uttered is the moment that Bambi may or may not absolutely lose it.
yeah, pretty much.
It's okay. Nick can help you chill out now.
That is true.
Oh, Pepper's like, well, if we need allies, then I have new friends too. See, butterflies. And Sally, there's just a bunch of like little moths just flying around.
My darling, those aren't butterflies.
Nick just does the like blank stare, slow blink a couple of times, and then starts looking or like rummaging around the room, going, "I really need a drink."
Anastasia has this expression, like a mother who has just walked into a room and found that her children have knocked over all of the china, and now she has to replace everything. It's just a look of complete defeat. She's like not surprised anymore. It's just all of my children are destructive and weird. This is what I'm dealing with.
There's that weird kid who's like, "Look, Mom, I found a bird," and is just like carrying this dead bird in.
What do you
Look,
have?
Mom.
A moth! No!
No!
Or like, "I found this spider outside. It's really cute," and then just drop it on the floor and
Put it back! Put it back where you found it!
Think back where it came from was to help me. Thank you so much, admin, for subscribing at tier 3. Subscribed for 11 months so far. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And
So help
with that,
me.
I believe you could do an asset or a challenge with that one, if you would like, or any combination of the things below. Asset, okay. So collectively, we get to choose something that will be helpful. Single-use item, or a situation or scenario that will help us. At this point, probably in the next episode, because we're.
I tell you what,
not
we'll
quite out of time,
hang
but-
on to it, and when we come to a situation where an asset might be good, then you guys can take a moment to discuss what you'd like to do with the asset. Sound good?
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put something on the screen to help us remember. Also, welcome in,
Awesome.
Raiders.
Hi, Raiders!
Hey, Jules!
Horrible Gamer Jay coming in with a party of 6. Thanks so much.
They're not
Awesome.
so horrible after all.
Smart brew.
Bambi.
Yeah.
Bambi's gonna look at Pepper and just be like, "Stay out of my wardrobe
Huh?
with your dirty butterflies. Stay out of my wardrobe."
I
you
love that
dirty
the insinuation is
butterfly."
that she has a wardrobe. Like there's just there's a home
Oh,
somewhere
no,
with an
don't-
entire wardrobe.
She
Don't
doesn't
worry.
know.
They don't eat clothes. They eat blood.
How do you know that?
See, look. It's just-
Anastasia just like claps her hands in front of your faces. She's like, can we please focus? Are we going to go to the entertainment district or not?
Oh, will we get more weapons and help there? I mean, you mentioned the help part, but there was a lot of scary things that just happened with us trying to be poisoned by Penelope, and then just like so many, like there was that creepy bug guy, and then there was everyone freaking losing their minds, and murder spree, and then there were all the splicers. That was a lot of splicers all at once attacking the same place, and my dogs could have died. So what I'm thinking is maybe we need more supplies too.
Bambi's gonna throw the chaise lounge pillow at Pepper.
She like literally falls over in her chair.
In tandem with that, as well as Bambi is doing that, Sydney kind of pipes up from where she's sitting, and she looks at you, Pepper, and she goes, "We were all there."
Pepper's like, oh, well, I mean, she's trying to straighten herself and picks up her chair, and she's like, I know we were all there, but that was so much more than just running around, and the alarm blaring thing that happened before, that's kind of normal for this place, but this was way more serious. This was bigger, and there's only 5 of us, 6 of us if you count the psychopath that also lives in his body, but they technically are one person. But what I'm saying is that we weren't, that was a lot, and my concern is like maybe we should have more supplies if Penelope's gonna be all murder on our asses.
Bambi pouts because she's out of pillows to throw. And she says, "You don't get out very often, do you?"
What?
Like I mean like out, like far out of
Like
wherever
drugs?
this. No, I mean kind of, but no. I mean like.
This isn't that whipper crack stuff, is it?
She's trying to find a way to explain to Pepper in a manner of just like, you don't face this shit on an everyday basis. What hole have you been hiding in, and how do I get a piece of it?
No.
At this point, if anybody cares to look, you can see that Celeste is deliberately trying to make herself seem scarce. Like she's sinking into her chair, like, you know, a hand over her eyes. She's looking at her books like, I'm not here. This seems like a family issue. You guys take care of it.
Pepper's like, well, so I mean, you run into like 1 or 2 splicers, maybe 3 or 4, or herds of animals sometimes. Sometimes there are herds of animals, but they're still splicers. I know that right now. But sometimes, like, they don't all just suddenly gang up and try to murder you, unless you're saying that's something that famous people do or have happen all the time, because that's a I'm scared for you.
Bambi's just like, what fucking world do you live in? Well, I am famous.
There's just threats of every day, but not like the mafia is after me and everyone is trying to kill me all at once. No, they usually like I usually have like traps. I make like traps, and I make a camp, and then sometimes I put in bait. And usually I can just sit back and wait And or if they bother me, I mean, I have my dogs, but
Well, we all
It's not
can't be
level.
patient like you are, Pepper.
This isn't about patience. This is literally about a whole bunch of people, like everyone wanting to kill you all at once. That's not a normal thing.
What rock have you been living under? Everybody wants to kill me. It's like death is the new black or something.
I'm really
Anastasia
scared.
starts rubbing her temples, and she's like, "Can we please save this conversation for another time? All I need to know if you guys are prepared to go to the entertainment district so that we could potentially see if there is someone there who can help us."
No,
And
Anastasia, what I'm saying is we need to make sure that we get supplies somewhere on the way. Maybe your weapons dealing guy can help, or I wanna make sure I'm prepared because I could have lost my dogs, and I think I'm making sense. I think I'm clear enough to make sense. Am I not making sense? I think I'm trying to make sense.
Oh no, you're making plenty of sense. I just don't see why it's applicable.
Of course
Nick
it's
speaks up and
applicable.
Just says, yes, you're a font of eloquence. And then turns to Bambi and goes, I, for one, do not wish to kill you. I would be quite pained if you were to meet an unfortunate end.
Oh shucks.
It looks back to Anastasia and says, yes, we can go wherever and find whomever it is that you wish to talk to to help us.
I think we could probably find ammo in the entertainment district if we go there and just take a look around. It's a very big place. There's got to be something there.
Well,
Could use a new suit.
how
Nick
much
starts
time
Brushing
How
off his
much-
clothes.
how much time do we have? Maybe I can try to make more like traps. The bear trap was really nice this time around.
Do we get the bear trap back? I mean, it might be a little sticky. You should
Oh, I
probably
imagine
wash
she
it.
did when she went outside. Now that the guy is
Yeah.
actually dead, but
Hope you hosed it off.
hard to say.
Yeah, it
with
was
her.
no issue. She was able to get that back. No big deal.
I'm just saying that I know we don't have a lot of time, especially if people are going to try to kill us on every turn. Like, that's not normal for everyone except for her, apparently. But what I'm saying is, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I want to make sure I'm ready for the worst. This has just been, it was just fun, you know? It was just like cool to, it was nice to see people again, and it's been we've been fighting splicers like normal, but this was more than that, is what I'm saying, and I just want to make sure. But if you think that we'll be okay and we can find things in the entertainment district, then I trust you. But I want that's my thought.
Anastasia puts a hand very loosely on your shoulder for just a second, and she looks at you and she says, I think everything will be okay just as long as we stick together.
Pepper pauses and looks pointedly at Niklaus and then eyeballs Bambi as well. And she says, are you sure?
I mean, that's a valid concern.
Anastasia also takes a moment to look back and forth between Bambi and Nick, and then even to Sid as well. And she's quiet for a very long moment, and then she says, I am very, very certain that without us, it will be very difficult for anybody else to leave as well. And as much as I hate to admit it, just as much as they need us, we also need them.
She pauses and she actually gets this kind of like funny look, and she's like, "You were ready to throw them out the door a second ago."
Anastasia looks like she's gonna throw you out the door.
No, she's clearly like
how
ribbing, but
mutually beneficial arrangements make for interesting allies.
They sure do. And Bambi looks at all of you guys.
Anastasia looks at you guys and she's like, make no mistake. If we get to the end of this and you guys get in the way, I have no problem with leaving you behind.
You don't mean me, right?
Well, no. If that
Anastasia's just like, no.
Well, no. That doesn't affect the landscape.
Well, then I would suggest playing nicely.
Landscape. She pauses. Isn't there like a saying about the landscape matching the drapes? Or is that something else?
Bambi slaps the seat next to Pepper. It's just like, no, not until you're older. I don't even know how old Pepper is, but in Bambi's eyes, she's a child.
Nick just looks at Pepper, just like, isn't it time for your nap or something?
What? She is 22, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Still a child, but an old child.
An old child.
Bambi stands up and kind of like straightens out her blood-soaked dress and kind of looks around, realizing that she's suddenly without heels, and tutters about it, and she looks at everybody else and she says, well, I think that's all we really need. I mean, the entertainment district's like my home. They all love me there. We'll have a great reception.
Well, then I'm also sure that you can point us in the right direction if we're looking for supplies and things to help us on our way.
Of course! And she's
Anastasia,
just like,
yeah, Anastasia looks to the rest of the group for confirmation. So obviously, she was the one who suggested this plan in the first place, so.
Pepper shrugs, like.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I've already said I agree.
All right, then I guess that is where we will go. So yeah, do you guys have anything else that you would like to explore first, or any other chats with Celeste or anything like that? Basically, what I'm saying is, once you leave this area, you will no longer be able to return. Are you ready to leave?
Bambi doesn't have anything that she wants more information on. But, like, maybe I do.
Pepper actually does, like, kind of wander over to Celeste and says, "Are you going to stay here?"
Hold on, sorry. Sorry,
Puppy.
Puppy was barking. I think she was spooked by something. I don't know, ghosts perhaps.
Spooks.
Sorry. What was the question that you asked?
Yes. Are you going to stay here?
Celeste kind of looks between you and Anastasia comes over at that. And she looks to Celeste and she says, "You're welcome to come with us if you'd like." And Celeste kind of shakes her head and says, "No, I don't think, I don't think I have the heart to follow you guys and seeing what you're capable of and what you do." And
But, but, but she tried to kill you too, you know. I don't know if you're safe here.
Well, yes, I know that too, but up until this point, this has been the safest spot for me, and I don't know, I have a good feeling that I'll probably be okay here, at least for a little while.
Well, not
But-
to fear. Once we've toppled the horrible dictator lady, what was her name? Penny, something like that. Anyways, once she's gone, we'll come back for you.
He doesn't know anything.
I still have
Celeste
an
gives,
sense
like,
of
a-
hearing, however.
Celeste just gives like a little painful smile where she's like, this is not not my family, not my problem. Please don't drag me into it. I'm trying to be polite.
Pepper's also like, but
Celeste.
also, we can help protect you too. I know we're weird, and we can't help it, but if she comes after you again, you know that, then we're not gonna be here to help.
Celeste gives you a more genuine smile, and she says, "Oh, actually, I do have someone else here that I've been trying to get in contact with, and there's one more spot that I think I'd like to check." Yeah, so I don't think it would be wise enough for me to leave without doing that first, but
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anastasia kind of turns around. She's like, "Well, where do you plan to go? We'll contact you by radio if and when we are able to organize a plan of escape, perhaps, and you can meet with us." And Celeste kind of nods, and she looks, happy that this plan doesn't involve her following you guys into certain doom. And she smiles and she nods and she says, "Yes, all right." Sorry, that's not Anastasia. She says, "Yes, all right." That sounds good. And then she kind of grabs a little piece of paper from off her desk, which has like some singeing around the edges of it, and she kind of just looks at it and she's like, what? And then looks around to see if anybody else sees the like fire marks, the scorch marks on the side of this paper. She's like, "You know what? Now's probably not a good time to ask." So she grabs a pen and writes a note that she hands to Anastasia with what she intends to do, where she's going to be. And she says, if it gets to the point where you guys figure out what you need, if you need any help, just let me know. But I'll be here, so you can contact me here if you need anything. And Anastasia tucks it into her pocket.
Bambi will pat the top of Celeste's head and say, "You done good, Doc."
Celeste gives you what she thinks is close enough to like an appreciative smile, but also she's still kind of like a little wary of you.
That's valid. I would be wary of Bambi too, to be perfectly honest.
All right, so you guys ready to go? Are we ready to leave and take off to our next leg?
Yes.
I think
Let's
so.
do it.
Wait, how many legs do we have? I only have 2. How many do you have?
I'm gonna kill Pepper.
We love her. She's part of the group, that Pepper.
I love Pepper too.
Listen, Pepper's. I would argue that Pepper's one of the sanest of all of you.
Oh, I would
So-
too. To be perfectly
God.
honest with you, I would too.
I mean,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, so with that then, you guys pack up all of the extra supplies that you've gotten from Celeste. You're now ready to kind of set off towards the entertainment district, which if you look at the map there on Roll20, You guys are currently at number 6, which is down in the lower right-hand side there. And then up just north, number 7, that is the entertainment district. So you will have to take another bathysphere route. Or actually, no, I think that might be actually trams. I think that side of the city is all connected by trams, because we did turn it back on through Hephaestus. So yeah, that actually should be working. We can take the tram station, which is nice. We won't have to worry about walking into a dark tunnel and having a swarm of people try to kill us.
Yay!
Where's the fun in that?
You're right. You know what? Just for you, Raven, I'm going to throw 50 slices your way. That is a present
Sweet.
just for you. I hope you
Awesome.
enjoy it.
Awesome, yes.
Yeah, so you guys are all set. You pack away your belongings. New plasmids tested, ready to wreck some shit, I guess. Hopefully that's how it ends up. And you begin your way down from the top of the tower where Celeste's laboratory is. And as you make your way down the stairs, you get to the bottom, and just as you're about to leave the building, you hear a very familiar crackling noise come to life. And it's one that you heard. It was something similar, Sid and Nick, when you were listening to Anastasia speak to you through the speakers of the bathysphere as you made your way down into the city. And it's also the same crackling you all heard when you were in Hephaestus, before all the alarms were set off, and when Penelope first kind of made herself known to you guys. It's the same crackling noise as the speakers in the building come to life. And you hear the same voice come to you as before, as through the Hephaestus speakers, and Penelope Augustine. She laughs. It's a very tinkling kind of breathy laugh. Clearly she's having a good time. But she says, she says, "My sincerest congratulations to all of you for your indomitable will to live. If nothing else, you have my respect, certainly. And I very much hope that there are no hard feelings amongst us. You see, everything I do, much like I assume the same for all of you, is in the best interest of the future. But unlike you lot, the future I seek to see realized is one where this city, and all touched by it, myself included, fades into history like a long-forgotten gem buried in a shipwreck at the bottom of the ocean. We are all gems doomed to this final and swift end. Rather poetic, wouldn't you agree? But the truth remains unchanged. No one can leave this city. Not you, not myself, and none of the little mice that begin to stir from their long-time slumber. And the transmission cuts out there. And that's where we're going to leave for today."
All right, new plan. Gonna kill Penelope, steal her accent.
Babby's just like, take your poetry and shove it up your ass.
Shakes, old man shaking fist at sky.
Yes.
New voice box for Lagu. Can you imagine if Lagu just started speaking like an old British lady?
With
Love
no
that.
explanation either, just shows up
Yeah.
and is talking like that.
If that doesn't happen, I'm going to be very, very sad. Shout out to you, Riley. Now you have to do it. You have to make a guest appearance.
Oh my god. In all seriousness, we were all able to hear that, like, in character, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that came over the PA system in the building.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I think, like, in the back of Nick's mind is Klaus going,
Well, if no one's getting out, then I suppose I had just better take over the whole city then.
Oh,
if I
lovely
can't leave
Klaus.
it, then I'll have to just rule it.
You can certainly try.
Right?
Good luck, sir.
You know, and you got Nick just going like, not now, damn it.
But yeah, that's where we are going to leave it today, friends.
That
Short
was
stream today.
wonderful.
That was great.
We managed to pack some little story bits in there. But yeah, we'll have to wait until next week to get now to the entertainment district, where Charles Schwartz is waiting for us.
Yes. I love the way Michael just put this. Klaus, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Pretty much.
Oh, sorry, Jay. Yeah, we're just wrapping up. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. We are gonna go around and let everybody say what their favorite part was and where we can find them online and all that good jazz, and then we're gonna go on a raid with our raid cry of Dipley presents Bambi on Ice.
I had a good time.
Speaking of Bambi, Yaz, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you next, and anything else you'd like to share?
I love Bambi's audacity to do anything ever in the face of what is good and what is right. I love Pepper trying to show her newfound power off and Anastasia being like, no. And Nick's, I don't even know, like, I just love the contrast between Nick and Klaus. And the way that they react and respond to everybody around them. And it gives me malicious joy.
I'm glad.
And of course, Penelope's transmission, because V does the best accents ever.
It's true.
False. I'm very bad at this.
I see your faults and raise you another false.
2 falses, make it a correctness. I don't know.
Uno reverse card. But
Oh, no,
what color
not the
Uno
trap
reverse card?
Yeah, that's true. Anyways.
Anyway, sorry, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you can find me on Friday morning. I am DMing the Beyond the Wall game, and shenanigans is all I can say about it. So come and check it out. Enjoy Raven plays in that one, and it's a trip, a surreal horror trip.
It's so great.
Come and hang out.
All right. Vanessa, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you, and anything else you want to share?
My favorite part was just the fact that we got to kind of talk through instead of having to fight our way through something for once. We just had to, have a chill day, just a half a session filled with talking and shenanigans and things like that. I also really enjoyed just adding kind of Sydney's little bit of flavor text here and there, just because I often forget to include Anastasia in things. Like this is the first time I've really voiced her in the last few sessions, just because they haven't been doing anything, so she's had time to give her input. But seeing as she's the character I play and I still forget to say things with her sometimes, having the opportunity just to add Sydney in sprinkled here and there, and kind of still keeping Riley with us a little bit along the way, that was really fun for me. And just like the singed pages and her pretending like nothing is happening and kind of like sitting on these pages as Niklaus gets ash rained into his mouth as he snores. But yeah, so I'm just really excited to finally get to the entertainment district, because that's the part I've been waiting for all this time. I'm so excited for you guys to get there. But yeah, So that's it for me. As for where you can find me next, I will be here tomorrow. No, I won't. Tomorrow, Raven, is tomorrow when your thing starts?
Yes. Yeah. There's no more streams this week.
So
Until
next Friday I'll be TMing.
yeah. So Tuesday will be the next Black Feather Guild stream. But Thursday, Friday, and Saturday I'll be at the LTUE symposium on. It's an online convention this year. But that's going to take up all my time for the next 3 days.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it started tomorrow or the day after, but yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
So as that is the case, you will see me next week for more Exodus on Wednesday evening, where hopefully we'll get to come back with a full session this time. Apologies, that was my fault for this time.
No worries.
But also, thank you to Yaz, who enjoys my accents. I didn't mean to be so adamant that I sucked, even though you were trying to give me a nice compliment that I really appreciate it.
Are we?
I mean, you can think what you want to think, but
I mean, true.
Wait, how close are we to completely signing off? Because I haven't gotten to say anything yet.
We'll get to you.
Yeah.
I'm just sure. It felt like we were done, and I'm like, wait a second.
not yet.
No, I'm just shouting out to Yaz because I was a little bit aggressive with my notes. I wanted to say thank you and that I appreciate you for your kind compliments. But as for anything else online for me, you can actually find me at my art Twitter. I just recently posted some new stuff. That's at Pepero Draws. That's Pepero like the candy. If you are a fan of My Hero Academia, I just recently posted a goofy picture there of one of the characters that I did for my best friend.
It's worth a look.
Yeah, it's in reference to a TikTok about My Hero Academia and horny jail. So if you're intrigued by that concept, definitely go check it out. And I also posted another piece there. Gosh, what did I post?
You've got some.
I don't know.
Stuff.
You'll have to go figure it out. You'll have to go see it for yourself.
It's like a puzzle.
There. I think it was a friend's OC or something like that. You'll have to go look at it and give it a like and figure it out for yourself. But yeah, my art Twitter is at Pepper Jazz. You can find me there. But yeah.
All right. Next we've got Rowan. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you? And anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I wasn't forgotten. I'm kidding. So I think my favorite part was just everyone kind of snarking at each other, because we've got this weird just dynamic between this group. Bambi kind of like both loves and hates Pepper for some reason.
It depends on the hour.
Yeah, seriously, like she'll treat her like a little sister or something at some moments, and then the other times it's just like, can we just yeet her out the window, you know?
Yeah.
And Niklaus's hidden sinisterness towards Pepper at all times, and his awkward apology, where literally nobody fucking cared, because it's like, you think you're the weirdest thing that's ever happened to us, bitch. And he just wanted that attention, like, oh, by the way, since nobody mentioned it.
No, that was me being surprised that nobody mentioned it. Like, I expected everybody to be like, what the hell? You had like this, you know.
You have to understand,
bitches.
Yeah, you have to understand your group, man.
Oh, I know, but just like with him coming topside and everything, I expected the characters to be a little bit like, wait, where did this come from? But everybody was like, yeah, that's cool, which is awesome.
I feel like we're always in a constant state of there is no time to analyze everything. We're always on the move. Everybody quick, put it in the back compartment. We'll deal with it later.
Yeah. That will have negative repercussions later.
Nope.
The party will remember this.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that was so it was kind of interesting just having the dynamics here, because it's a weird one. It's definitely weird, like a party that is both like has a lot of animosity toward each other, but also recognize the fuck.
Necessity?
That thing. Necessity of having one another. Where you can find me, I too will be a guest at LTUE this weekend. I have like 7 different panels. I'm not a special guest. Major hats off to Raven for being the special guest this year for that. But I am doing panels typically on art. You can find me at runnorthillustrations.org. And not this Saturday, but most Saturdays I do have my Time Travelers game, which is a Lovecraftian horror type situation, which is fun. So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure. And that just leaves me my favorite part. Probably Sid lighting things on fire and just being like, hey, fire. That was just a really cool moment. I like that. I also just really enjoyed the banter between Bambi and Nick and Pepper and Anastasia. Especially the hush, mommy and daddy are talking, and Anastasia's just disgusted reaction. That was great. But the whole thing was fantastic. I really enjoyed the whole thing, and I always love Anastasia and Penelope's voices. You do a great job with that, V. Yeah, the whole thing is good. You can find me next, as I mentioned, at LTUE. I'm gonna put that link in chat again. I believe you can still get tickets if you really want to attend. They're a little pricey for the full weekend, unless you're a student, and then it's only $5. So if you are a student and you want to check it out, I definitely recommend it. But I'll be, as Rowan mentioned, a special guest there on the topic of streaming and game design. So I'll be presenting. I've got 3 presentations, I think 1 a day, that I'm doing, as well as a bunch of different panels. So you can find me there. About a month after the event, you can go back and see all of the stuff on YouTube. It'll be open to everybody at that point. And then after that, like I mentioned, Tuesday will be Water. That'll be our next Black Feather Guild stream. And I'm really excited for that episode because there's going to be a lot of lore that gets dropped, and a couple of mysteries that are going to have some puzzle pieces revealed. So it's going to be a good one. I'm really excited. So definitely check back on Tuesday. And then in the meantime, if you want to catch up on other shows, past episodes, and other shows that we've done in the past, you can find all that stuff over at the Fantasy Network, which is just, I believe it's watch.fantasynetwork.com. I've got the link here in the schedule, which should be there in chat. And I think I misspelled that.
Did it do the thing? I don't think you misspelled it.
Did I misspell it on the command? Because that's possible.
Maybe.
Oh well. I cannot find the command quickly. But yeah, just Google the Fantasy Network, you'll find it. Anyways, so that's where you can find me next. Other stuff to share is sponsors. Definitely go check out Fundamental RPG and Intrepid. You can find both of those in chat. So coffee.com/raven/shop. You can find both of those there. Fundamental RPG is the tabletop system that I designed. Second edition is coming out at the end of this month or early March, depending on a couple of things in production. It'll be available in PDF and paperback, and you can pre-order it at coffee.com/raven/shop. They're discounted during the pre-order period, so definitely go grab those while you can. Paperback prices do include shipping to US and I believe to Canada, so you don't have to worry about paying extra later or anything like that. That's one price for the whole thing. And Intrepid is adventuring gear for real life, so athletic, outdoors, and casual wear with adventurer or tabletop themes to them. There's also some cool accessories like water bottles and mouse pads and things like that. So yeah, that's sponsors. That's everything to cover. What is going on in chat?
Nothing. Nothing. Tra la la.
I look away from chat for 5 seconds.
And then all of a sudden it's Titty Man.
I dare one of you to try and tell me that Aiza was not absolutely jacked under all of that sleeping bag. Titty Man. It's just Titty Man. He's Titty Man.
Okay. So on that note, our raid cry is Dipley presents Bambi on Ice. And we're gonna go raid Attack Trick before chat gets any weirder. But thank you all for watching. Thank you again, admin, for the tier 3 subscription tonight. Thank you to everybody for playing, and Vanessa for not only GMing but designing the system that we're playing on. Really appreciate it. And then I will see you all at for anybody going to LTV, I will see you all tomorrow. For everybody else, I will see you all on Tuesday. Bye everybody.